Hey guys, what's up? It's Max here. So I really need some practice in making videos, content, whatever. So before I get into the meat and potatoes of really what I want to talk about, which is my model for the planetary self and how that all works within us and the energetic mechanics of everything that happens within us. So I'm going to be doing just a couple that are a little bit easier and don't hold so much value to me per se, simply because what I really want to talk about is so deep and meaningful to me that I just don't feel like I could do it justice right now, and I would probably just get bogged down in perfectionism and maybe not even be able to produce it. So I'm going to give you a few that are just a little bit easier for me. So in this one, I'm going to be giving you 2 contemplative tools that you can use to sort of relate these objects to your life. You'll see what I mean. Now, contemplative tools makes it sound like you need to be a contemplative person. You don't. These are just analogies, metaphors. I hope you like it. Here you go. So here we go. 2 contemplative tools. Now, tool number 1, I call the stack of stones. I was once on a beach in Kauai, and all around people had made these stacks of stones. You've probably seen them. I've seen them in various places around the world. So this stack of stones is an analogy for how your rational brain works in relation to all of the subconscious internal forces within you. The little stone at the top represents your rational mind. And the job of this little stone is to make sense of everything within you and the world around you. It's got a very important job. All of the stones beneath this stone represent layers of your subconscious, or bits of your intuitive self. Things that only you can define, because they are made up of all of your past programming and emotional tendencies, and only you can recognize what they are, because in a sense they are you. This is the place from which, as Jesus said, the still small self whispers from. And so if you can soften enough and quiet your mind enough and listen intently enough, you will eventually be able to hear the whisper and glean some insights from what it's trying to tell you. And so looking at this model, we can think about times in your life when you maybe feel out of balance. People say that they've lost their center. This is an indication that one of these lower stones is slightly out of place, and that little rational stone at the top, whose job it is to make sense of it all, is being forced to exert effort and try to keep everything in balance and make sense of everything in the outer world. And this is why it's quite important to look inwards and try to make sense of what might be going on and realign the stack and shore yourself up and find your balance again. Okay, so contemplative tool number 2 is actually a 2-parter, and it's the river. If you think of your early life and just getting, as a child or as a baby even, you'll start to develop behavioral patterns and ways of thinking, and imagine this being a river in its very early stages. A very small amount of water flowing and not a lot of erosion has occurred yet. But as time goes on, the current builds, gullies begin to erode into valleys, and the course is solidly set. Now imagine you're later in life and you've recognized that some behavioral tendencies or ways of thinking are simply just no longer serving you. Maybe at this point you know that one of your lower stones is quite out of balance and you would like to make a correction. Looking at the river at this point, it seems like your course is solidly set, and that making a major change would be akin to carving through mountains through sheer force of will. But luckily, you're not a river. You have this thing called neuroplasticity, something that I'll absolutely be talking about in later videos. And neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to start to rewire itself, to form new synaptic connections and strengthen those connections over time. Complex, we'll get into it later. And so when you consider making changes in your life, and this brings me to part 2 of the river, think of a river that is slowly meandering through a wide valley. And in this part 2 analogy, you are both the valley and the river. You know that you would prefer to reroute your life to another part of the valley, yet currently you're on the opposite side. So in order to make a change, all you really have to do is start applying a force in the direction you'd like to move. Slowly over time, the material that is on one bank will be eroded and material will be deposited on the opposite bank. You will begin to reroute and your course will make adjustments, and eventually you'll find yourself flowing nice and stably along a preferred course. So there you go, 2 simple analogies for helping you look inward and make some sense of your life. Thanks for listening. Hey guys, thanks for watching. So I just want to say that I'm not planning on ever really becoming a monetized channel, and the reason for that is I just think that people have enough ads in their lives and you don't need that. I'm hoping to support this channel on my own. If you would like to help me in that endeavor, you can reach me over on Patreon, and that's where I'll be putting most of my time in and really interacting with people. I'm not big on social media. I just find it to be a little bit overwhelming. I haven't been on there in several years, but I am getting back on there more now with this endeavor. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.